to see the teddy bear are here to play. If you don't come play with us.
Welcome to Frightened Female. This is Crystal. Today's viewer story was submitted by Dennis. It's a really creepy one. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment field. And with that, let's begin. One afternoon last year, my girlfriend came home from a day of shopping with yet another thrift store treasure. She was constantly going to swap meets and secondhand shops to find the latest flower pot or dish. That we probably didn't need. But she enjoyed her trinkets, so I wasn't going to bug her about it. This time, she had brought home a neat-looking mask with purple and gold designs and huge feathers on top of it. It was very masquerade-like. She said, "I found this mask today, and it got me thinking about our next vacation. What do you think about New Orleans? You know, do the whole Mardi Gras thing." I nodded. We both had never been there. My friends had gone before and had a blast, so why not? It was only 5 weeks away, so we sat down that night and looked over hotel reservations. There were only a few rooms left, and the prices were outrageous. But it was worth it, because she was pretty excited. Our only worry was leaving our Jack Russell Terrier, Bosco, at home for a week. My girlfriend didn't like overnight dog kennels, so we decided to ask our good neighbor if they could check on Bosco once a day while we were gone. Even though Bosco tears everything up in sight, she kindly said yes. So, our accommodations were set, and we were ready for New Orleans. We arrived 2 days before the event kicked off, to do a little sightseeing and window shopping before the big party crowds hit the streets. We went to this tiny outdoor corner store that was selling all kinds of neat things, one of which caught my eye. It was an authentic Haitian voodoo doll that was made of burlap, straw, and horsehair on its head. I must say, the thing looked pretty creepy, but for some reason, I really wanted it. It just looked cool, and it would make for a great souvenir. My girlfriend rolled her eyes at me a bit. "Voodoo doll," she said. "What are you going to do with a voodoo doll, Dennis?" "Hey," I replied, "I don't bother you about the things that you buy all the time." So I bought it and put it in my suitcase first thing when we got back to our room. I didn't want to leave it behind. The remainder of the week was incredible. We listened to jazz bands, ate gumbo and jambalaya, danced till the sun came up. It was fun, but it was time for us to get home to our pride and joy, Bosco. Hopefully he didn't destroy the house too much. When we arrived back, we thanked our neighbor and gave her $40 and a really neat necklace that my wife had bought for her. She said that the dog tossed around a few things and got into the trash once, but overall everything went well. We were so happy to see the little guy. It was good to be home. After a day of rest, I was back to work again. When I came home that Monday afternoon, I walked in my room to see socks and dish rags flung all over the floor. My girlfriend hadn't folded the laundry yet, and Bosco had got to the basket before she did. As I walked over to start picking up the mess, I felt an uncomfortable crunch underneath my foot. Below one of the rags was the voodoo doll I bought, that I stupidly had left in its souvenir bag right by the bedside. "Damn dog," I said to myself. Not more than 1 second later, I hear my wife call me from the bathroom. I rushed to her, and she was hunched over, holding her stomach and sitting on the edge of the tub. "Honey, what's wrong?" I said. She cringed in pain. "I just got the sharpest shooting pain in my stomach." "Damn, that hurt," she said. I assumed maybe it was something that she ate. Who knows? It eventually went away, but it scared her a bit. I told her to lie down and just rest. I finished picking up and folding the laundry and placed the somewhat damaged voodoo doll on the nightstand. Hopefully, Bosco wouldn't get to it, but he had occasionally knocked things on the floor before. A few days later, my girlfriend had an early dentist appointment, and I was getting ready for work. While she was in the shower, I went to walk in the closet to pick out my outfit for the day, searching for the right tie to go with some new shoes I had bought. I heard Bosco rustling around in the bedroom with something. I finished picking out my clothes, and when I went to see what the dog was doing, I then shouted, "Bosco, no, bad dog." He had the voodoo doll pinned to the ground, pulling the hair from its head out and spitting it all over the carpet. The doll wasn't all the way ruined, but it didn't look as it had before. "Oh well," I said. About 2 minutes later, I hear the shower water shut off, and my girlfriend cries, "Dennis, get in here. Oh my God," she said. "What? What is it?" I opened the shower door, and there my girlfriend stood with a clump of hair in her hand that had fallen from her scalp. Her eyes were welling up with tears. "How did that happen?" She didn't know, but I assured her that it was going to be okay. Everyone loses some hair, but she was upset because it was quite a large chunk. Eventually she calmed down. If it worsened any, we'd go see a doctor. I then told her about what Bosco had done with the doll while she was showering. "You know what? I can't stand that thing anyways. I don't want voodoo crap in my house. Can you please get rid of it?" Seeing as how she was already upset, I said yes and decided to take it to work and give it to my friend Jared. His son was into those kind of things. And so I did. I gave it to him that morning and said, "Hey, your boy might want this. I got it from New Orleans, but Jenny doesn't want it in the house." I wasn't just going to throw it away. He said thank you. 2 weeks had gone by. There was no more hair falling out, which was great. It was the weekend, and once again, my girlfriend was out at her favorite thrift store. She hadn't been there since before we left on our trip, so that meant lots of new trinkets were stocked. I was watching the local news on the couch when I heard her car pull in the driveway. She wasn't speaking to me right away, and I figured something was wrong by the way she slammed her keys down. She entered the living room and stared at me. "What?" I said with concern. Hastily, she asked, "Is this like a sick joke or something? Very funny." "What?" I said. Jenny went on to say that while she was browsing along the shelves at the thrift store, she stumbled across my same voodoo doll, hidden underneath a worn-out children's book. "It's not funny, Dennis." I was so confused, and then it soon all made sense. Jared's wife was constantly donating to local charities and often gave boxes of unwanted items to Goodwill and always using his truck to haul stuff. I figured his wife didn't want their son to have the doll in the house either and just threw it in a contribution box. That is how it ended up at the thrift store. Simple explanation. I'd ask him on Monday. So, first thing at work, I went over to Jared's desk and asked him, "Dude, your wife didn't want the voodoo doll either, huh? Jenny saw it at the thrift store and freaked out. Did your wife donate it?" He frowned and said, "No, man. My son loved it. He even took it to school to show his buddies." So not wanting to seem crazy, I said, "Cool, that's good," and walked away. Jenny and I really didn't talk about it much afterwards. She almost forgot about the whole thing, and I'm surprised she didn't bring it up whether or not I talked to Jared about the situation. I was still curious, but I pushed it aside. On that Wednesday, out of nowhere, about 1 hour before closing, Jared came over to my desk and said, "Hey, you got a minute?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He continued, "So I asked my son what his friends thought of the doll he had taken to school. My son looked down and told me that it went missing from his backpack at last period. He didn't want to tell me because it was a gift from you, and he was afraid that I'd be upset. Here's the strange thing," he said. "When I asked him who could have taken it, he said, nobody, and that in a dream he had had, the voodoo doll was lying next to him saying, I need to be back home. Take me to her now. Her, meaning my girlfriend, Jenny. It all made sense. Her stomach pains after I stepped on the doll. Her hair falling out after Roscoe ripped the doll's hair to shreds. Let's just say we'll never visit New Orleans again. She hasn't gone back to that thrift store since. Be careful not to tamper with that of the supernatural unknown. Thank you, Dennis, for submitting your story. Please like and subscribe to my new channel. I'd love to hear your true scary story. Please see the description box below. I would love to share it. Please also be safe, be aware of your surroundings, and remember to always lock your door. Scare you later.